Hello, Black women. Hello, friends. I left the United States September of 2015, and I haven't lived in the United States since. I've spent time in Southeast Asia and Latin America, various parts of Europe and Australia, and I get asked some questions a lot about bugs and cleanliness and stuff like that. So let's talk about those today. Let's talk about my horror stories regarding life abroad. Not all of my horror stories are about cleanliness and bug things, because bugs aren't really my like phobia or fear. But let's talk about, let me share my horror stories. Hi, my name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter, creator of House Sitter School, and co-creator of Exodus Summit. And I help Black women take career breaks, sabbaticals, bop around the world as a nomad, move abroad, while embracing ease. If these things sound good to you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, please. This is time for you to do that. I'm waiting. Thank you. And then turn on notifications, ring the notification bell. You'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live. Welcome, welcome with my friends. Hello, friends. Hi, friends. Hello, everybody. Hey, Junket. Hey, MP. Hey, D Daily. Hello, Money Magic. Hello, Peaceful Butterfly. Good morning, Susie Q and S.A. Nikki and Always in Pursuit. Good morning, Connie Perry. That's my mom. Good morning, Professor LCH. Ms. Melanie. Good morning, Renee. Hey, Michelle. Bopping. Bopping is instead of leaving the United States to move to one particular country, you leave the United States and you travel from place to place. With your US passport, a lot of countries will let you stay for 90 days. Some will let you stay less. Some will let you stay more. Some will let you stay for 6 months. Some will let you stay for a year. We talked about that just last week on this channel. But yeah, if you go from place to place for a little while, we call that bopping. Nomad, most people would call that being a nomad, living nomadically, or something like that. Good morning, Rashida. Hey, Tori Reed. Friends, make sure that you say good morning in the chat. We only have a couple rules here, and that's the first rule. So say good morning if you're here, or hello. If it's not morning where you are, say hello. Okay, thank you kindly. All right, so I took notes on my horror stories because just like last week, I didn't get good sleep. Fridays are not good sleep nights for me for some reason. The menopause is like, oh, it's Friday night and tomorrow is the day that you need to be up bright and early. The earliest day of my entire week is Saturday morning here in Bogota. It's 9 a.m. when I do my live streams in Bogota, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Menopause be like, no, I don't think you're going to get much sleep tonight. So I had to take notes on my horror stories. So I thought I would start with the bopping horror stories and just go from there. And if you have any particular question, like the question that was asked that prompted this video, go ahead and holler, put your questions in the chat. Fair exchange and robbery. Thank you for asking this question. Has anyone had issues with unclean hotels, etc., or bed bugs? This is what something's me from bopping. There's a word I couldn't read. I have high standards on cleanliness. Okay, so this is a conversation we should have, even though I've brushed it off many a time. We're going to go ahead and have the conversation today. The United States does excel in some things, and I think that includes comfort, right? Like actual comfort, comfortable bedding, and also it excels in. Well, it's one of the regions, one of the places where you're going to have a better cleanliness experience and maybe bugless experience. So let's go ahead and talk about those things. So I thought first we would talk about my experiences with bopping, and then we would talk about my house sitting horror stories, which you've heard before, probably just a couple. I only have a couple. Then we'd move on to South Africa, Costa Rica, and Mexico, because the bopping year in Southeast Asia, a lot of these are from that 1 year. A lot of my bopping horror stories are from that 1 year, okay? And then if you have a question, type your question in the chat. It may be easier if you put a Q in front of it so that I'll see it. Or so that I have a better chance of seeing it while things are scrolling by. Okay, one more thing before we get started. I'm expecting a delivery this morning from IKEA. I expect it to be a delivery that they just leave downstairs with the security guard. But if he rings my phone, I may have to get up out of my seat. They just said Saturday, and I don't know any other information about what time, or even if it should be in a flat pack. So I assume they're just going to leave it downstairs. And I bought a little cart and I'll just bring it up in my cart and then assemble it later. Okay, so bopping, bugs. Let's talk bugs. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. So like I said, I've been to Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines. I've been to Australia. I've been to a small percentage of Europe. I've been to Mexico, Costa Rica. Now I'm in Colombia, spent a little time in the Caribbean. Bugs, everybody's got bugs. Everybody's got their version of bugs. I'm in Bogota right now, and it's very high altitude. Bogota is higher altitude than Denver, Colorado. So I rarely see bugs here, but there's still bugs here, right? I think if your concern is bugs, it's important to be in a high rise, right? If you're like not the average person's concern about bugs, nobody likes bugs. Almost nobody likes bugs, right? But if you're like, if you make life decisions based on, are there bugs there? I can't go to this thing because there's bugs there. I can't go to this place because there's bugs there. Then I would recommend you stick to the high rise life, right? Get up as high as you possibly can. I'm only on the 5th floor in Bogota, but the combination of it being a high altitude city and my apartment being on the 5th and 6th floors, I ain't seen no bug. I ain't seen not one. What is the bug around here? Right? If you live in Florida, you know the palmetto, la cucaracha, right? If you live in, in Southeast Asia, I would say it's more, the concern, I think, is more of the little lizards and geckos than the bugs. I don't know what the thing is here. We're so high altitude that I don't know that there's a particular pest that people who hate pests are vexed by in Bogota. Maybe that's an answer, right? Go to the highest cities in the world, fewer bugs. My apartment doesn't seal, right? My apartment, the kitchen has my kitchen window is a 3-panel window, right? Middle and 2 side opening parts. The middle, it does not open, and the 2 sides open. In my kitchen, one of them has a mesh top. Like the top third of it is like, it's not mesh, it's the actual window, but it's holes in the actual window, right? That looks like mesh. My laundry room also has that type of window, but it has a whole strip of it. My home, Bogota, these homes don't seal all the way. You're going to get fresh air. You're going to get your fresh air. And it's just not a thing that they do. I've stayed in and visited quite a few apartments here and scouted out quite a few apartments here, and they don't seal up, right? And I've seen a mosquito, a couple of flies in a year and 2 weeks that I've lived here in this apartment, right? And in the other apartments, I don't remember seeing stuff, right? I've stayed in Airbnbs and in hotels around town. So maybe the answer, if you have bug problems, if you have a problem mentally with regular amounts of bugs, you need to be in the high rise, right? You need to be in a building with 20 some floors, or you need to be in a very high altitude building. Southeast Asia, like I said, is mostly the little lizards and geckos. I can understand someone not liking them in their home. They didn't bother me because I know that they eat mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are the enemy in Southeast Asia. So them little geckos, I let them stay on the wall, even the ones that make noise. In the Philippines, I stayed in a hostel and I was like, what is that sound? And the lady behind the desk, she's a girl, she was young. Behind the desk, she was like, you know what that is? That's that gecko. It sounded like some kind of cross between barking and, I don't know, it sounded like, was it Stitch from Lilo and Stitch? It sounded a lot like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. And she was like, you know what that, I was like, I promise you, where I come from, lizards do not make noise. So the concern with the lizards was more about the noise. I think, for me anyway, than them being there, because them being there meant that at least they were going to eat some mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are everywhere in Southeast Asia. I did contract leishmaniasis from bugs in Southeast Asia. I went to a horror story number one. I was in the Philippines, and the Philippines is just island after island after island, and they're a little bit different, and they're interesting. And when you ain't got no place to be, you just hop on a ferry with your suitcase and you go to the next island, and then the next island, and then the next island. So I went to Palawan. Palawan is the island, right? Let me look it up. And in Palawan, most people visit El Nido and Puerto Princesa. I wanted to go from El Nido to Puerto Princesa relatively slowly. So I would just get on a little van and go to the next town, stay in that town for a week or two, go to the next town, stay in that town for a week or two. So I was in Palawan, and I was in a town that did not get tourists, but it did have a college, San Vicente. So I went to San Vicente. They had a nice little guest house. My budget for accommodation back then was $16 a night, and I got my own hotel room / guest house room for $16 or less per night, because I didn't go over $16 unless I had gone under significantly before that. So I had stayed in a nice little guest house, and on the internet, they said San Vicente has a beach called Mile Beach or something like that. Long Beach, maybe Long Beach. Long Beach, called Long Beach. And they were like, but tourists don't go there. People live on Long Beach, but tourists don't go there because they have sandflies, and the sandflies really, really eat your legs or eat you up. They bite you to death, and the bites are really, really terrible. And I was like, I'm going to Long Beach because I've been to Thailand, and I have this bug repellent that is super duper. I'm gonna put on my super duper bug repellent. I'm gonna pay this little boy. He was a teenager. I'm gonna pay this boy a few dollars to drive me out to the beach on his tricycle. There they did what are those bikes called? The bikes, the vehicles that you ride in the forest, the big wheel tricycle things. I'm gonna pay him. He gonna take me out to this beach, and I'm gonna get on this beach by myself because nobody else is gonna be there. And I'm gonna have a time. So I went out there. I paid the boy. He took me out there. He just hung out on the bike for a while. Was on his phone and stuff. While I was on the beach taking pictures and walking around and laying on the sand and got in the water. Don't you know, sandflies tore me up. Not only was it sandflies, not only were the bites really terribly itchy, I contracted leishmaniasis from those things. My legs had, 8 or 10 bites about the size of this coin. This is a Colombian, actually, what is this? This is 100 pesos. It's 100 pesos in Colombia, right? Which is what, 3 cents? 30 cents. 30 cents maybe. No, might be 3 cents. I don't know. It's early. Tore me up. Leishmaniasis is gross. Don't look it up. I promise you, don't Google it. Okay? Somebody right now is Googling it. Don't Google it. My legs, they ate me up. I had sores on my legs like this, and I thought that they were just bites. I thought that I just had bites until a few days later, my finger went through the first bite. I was touching it, scratching it, because they were crazy itchy, the itchiest bites I've ever had in my whole life. I was scratching it, and my finger went into the bite, and I realized that these weren't just bites, they were crevices. I was missing parts of my body. These bites were covering holes in my body. So I had to do the Googles, and I found out that I had contracted leishmaniasis. By this time I had left San Vicente. It took several days to develop. First, it was just itchy looking mosquito bites, and then they got bigger, and then I realized that they were caverns. So by now I'm on a different island and I got these 8, 9, 10 bites up and down my legs. So I Googled the nearest hospital, and there was a hospital within walking distance. I went to the emergency room because at the time I wasn't aware that pharmacies and pharmacists often do the kind of work that we expect a doctor to do in the US. So I went to the emergency room. They saw me in minutes. I feel like there was no one else there, no one else waiting when I got there. There may have been somebody there before me. They saw me in minutes. The doctor, she was like, said, I think this is leishmaniasis. And she was like, it is, right? Because they were island people. They know these tropical diseases. And she saw me, treated me, gave me the drugs. I went to the pharmacy in the hospital and they gave me the drugs. And my bill was under $40 total for the emergency visit, for the I got antibiotics for the leishmaniasis, and then they gave me like Prilosec in case the antibiotics upset my stomach. And they gave me something else. I got 3 different medications plus the doctor visit for $30-some. So even my horror story ended up being a success story. On my sabbatical, on my time traveling, most of my worst fears came true. I contracted a disease. I ran out of money. The next thing I will talk about, and the next 2 things were some of my worst fears. They all came true, and none of them were anywhere near as bad as you would think, right? My worst fears came true, and I kept it moving, right? Yes, so he was on ATV. It was a really funny experience because it was a small town, but they had a lot of ATV drivers, like taxi drivers, to get people around. And this boy, anytime I would walk out of my place, he would be there. You want me to take you around? And when he would take me around on the ATV, he would be stunting on his homies, right? They didn't get a lot of visitors. They definitely didn't get a lot of Black women visitors. Every time he would drive me past, he only took me 3 or 4 different places because most of it was a very walkable, little teeny tiny town. Like I ate dinner at the restaurant right next to the guest house, which was also a home. It was a restaurant/home where I ate my dinner. And I bought my little bit of groceries right across the street. But he took me a couple of different times. He took me out somewhere and he would just be stunting on his homeboy, ride me right past where everybody else was waiting, all the little taxi stand. He'd be riding by there. I'm like, he is so excited to have a guest, a foreigner. So, how big were those flies? I didn't see them. How big were the sandflies? I didn't see one. And I didn't feel a bite. I never felt them biting me, which is why people said, don't go there. It's muy peligroso. It's dangerous. I didn't see one of them. They were little, they're mites. I call them sandflies, but they're mite. There's some kind of mite. And I didn't see them and I didn't feel them. If I had felt them biting me, I would have gotten up and left, right? I didn't see them and I didn't feel them. And I don't even know if I felt them when I went home and showered. I think it was probably a whole day before I'm like, oh, whoops. The internet was right. What do you know? What do you know? It was gross. The itching was horrible. I've been bitten a lot, right? At this point, I was 41 years old, 42 years old. I have never had anything so itchy. I have never been that itchy in my life. It was horrible. I happened to have been traveling with a German young woman, and she was a tropical disease specialist. Anyway, and once I finally told her what happened, she was like, oh yeah, that's leishmaniasis. After I went to the doctor, she was like, oh yeah, that's leishmaniasis. All right, horror story. It's a horror story, but it worked out. How did it work out? Well, I kept my legs. I still have my legs. I experienced healthcare in the Philippines. a small version. Yes, open wounds. Yes, I ended up putting. I couldn't put 8 bandages on my legs, but I put little Band-Aids. I would put a bit because the little square of the Band-Aid, the actual gauze part of the Band-Aid was almost exactly the size of the sores. So I would just loosely, I was supposed to air them out, but they looked gross. They looked gross. And I'm in the Philippines where it's 90, 100 degrees. I wore a long skirt sometimes, so I can't wear this long skirt all day, every day. I only had one long skirt with me, right? So I ended up just putting Band-Aids over top of them, but not touching, right? Just made a little tent out of my Band-Aids. And I had 8 or 10 Band-Aids up and down my legs for days. I was buying Band-Aids every day so that I could keep them somewhat covered from other people, right? So people don't have to see that. And also from the dust and dirt around, but let them air out. It was an experience that I don't recommend you repeat. It was gross. Put me on mute. We can move on. We can move on. But I experienced healthcare in the Philippines, and none of the scars. I don't think you can still see any of the spot. It took a couple of years for the dark circles to go away. The sores themselves healed after I got the antibiotics. It probably still took, I don't know, 5 or 6 days for them to not be open wounds. That's what I think. As I recall, this was 2015, 2016. I was in the Philippines, I believe Christmas. It was, okay, yeah, it was late 2015, early 2016. I know I was in the Philippines for Christmas, and I spent maybe four or 5 months there. I had to renew my visa. I spent a while there. All right. Happened to you in Pensacola? All right. Those bites were the itchiest bites I've ever experienced. And then they were also eating away at my flesh. Not a good experience, baby girl. What about shots or vaccines before you leave the United States? I didn't get any. So I was in the Army until 2005. And the things that you need that are lifetime, once in a lifetime shots, I got them, right? Because the Army, one thing they're going to do is inject you with some stuff, right? Literally, you just, every so many months, you just go to the big building, MEPS. No, it wasn't MEPS. What was it called? Whatever, the big building. You stand in line with your T-shirt on, and they just shoot you with this. And then the next you go to the next nurse, and she shoots you with that. And then you go to, I don't know what kind of stuff they injected me with when I was in the Army, but I know I didn't need any of the repeat lifetime vaccines. I wasn't going anywhere that required yellow fever, although that's a thing I should get while I'm here in Colombia. The yellow fever vaccine is needed for parts of Africa. I don't know about Ghana. I know East Africa, yellow fever vaccine is needed, I believe, but it's crazy expensive in the United States. So that's a vaccine that is worth getting when you're traveling. If you're in another country, one thing you should do is get your yellow fever vaccine if you want it. And another thing you should do is just go to the pharmacy and get all the drugs you and your friends and family need, right? Because it's very inexpensive here. So that's a thing I should do here in Colombia. But I didn't go any place that needed any vaccine that I didn't have. So no, I didn't. But if you know, yellow fever is probably the most common vaccine that's required, I think. And so if you know you're going someplace and you need it, if it's possible, get it in another country. We're talking pennies on the dollar, right? Pennies on the dollar. Okay. That was nightmare. What I call it, horror story number 1. But a thing about me, I'm gonna look on the bright side. And now I get to tell you a little bit about my healthcare experience in the Philippines. And nothing happened. My legs are good. I got my legs. I kept my legs. And the scarring, I know the scarring was still there like a year later. I'm going to say the scarring probably took a good year or two to go away. Might have been longer than that, but I don't have the scarring anymore. That was early 2016, late 2015. I would have overreacted for sure. After you just got to go with the flow, right? When you're in a place where it's all on you to figure this out. You are, I believe today that you are a different person in a different place. And I don't know. Right, you just got to deal with it. There's so much that you just have to deal with. You just got to deal with it. Right? What else am I going to do? Now, I done made the mistake. I done what they told me not to do. I done what the internet said don't do. I went to Long Beach when they said, girl, don't go to Long Beach. There's so many better beaches on this island. I had just left Palawan. Palawan is the beach. I had just left El Nido. Palawan is the island. I had just left El Nido, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, and I lost my picture. So let's talk about horror story number 2. I'm in El Nido. When I tell you, it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. If you Google El Nido right now, you'll see. I don't know how to explain it to you, except that it's just beautiful. And there's like a relatively relatively famous picture of me on that beach. Nakpan Beach is one of the beaches in El Nido. They call it the Twin Beach. And I'm walking down this little grassy thing, and there's 2 different beaches in front of me. It's beautiful. And that's just one of the sites there. The hostel, I stayed at a hostel there. Claire and I went to this. He took the hostel manager, who was also a young boy. He was probably 20. Him and his bestie or boyfriend, I'm not sure. They took us to this like grotto, and we just floated in this grotto. I think it was a grotto. And then I took a day tour, and a girl from Korea who told me her American name or English name was Esther. That we took a tour, and you kayaked out into this place, and you were in a cave. It was, Palawan. But the island is Palawan, but El Nido is still the most beautiful place I've been, and I've been to a lot of places. And don't you know, when Esther, who I met in my hostel, Esther and I were finishing our day tour. We were on the very last stop, and it was just a swing above the ocean, like a swing out on the beach where you could swing out and they would take your picture and it looked like you were flying over the ocean, right? We just finished that last tour, that last stop on the day tour. My pictures had not been going to the cloud. I don't remember why. I don't remember my thinking on this. We are getting back on the boat to go back to land. So this is the very end of the tour. I've taken the most breathtaking pictures you can imagine. I have my phone in a plastic, what were those things, cases that they used to give, that you used to have to buy? For less than a fraction of a second, bloop, my phone in the case dropped into the water. My phone died. I've never seen those pictures. El Nido, I'm going back to El Nido. I don't know. I don't know when I plan to get back to the Philippines. I'm going back to El Nido. It was the most beautiful place I've ever been. And I took the most amazing pictures. Esther had on her little swimsuit. She was also like 21. When you stay in hostels, all of your friends are in their early 20s. And she was like, no, I don't want any pictures. I was like, Esther, this is a once in a lifetime place. And she didn't have a phone. She didn't have a camera with her or something. And I was like, I'm gonna take these pictures. I'm gonna email them to you. She gave me her email address. I kept that email address for years in case the phone ever came back on. Right? I'm talking about the most beautiful place in the world, but it's a small island in the Philippines. Now my phone is dead. I didn't just lose the pictures. I lost the phone. The phone is dead. So I don't budgeted for this trip to cost me $1,200 a month. I only have $1,200 a month. I'm planning to spend $1,200 this month, and I ain't got no phone. So I got on a van in El Nido. I got on a van in El Nido, and I believe it was a 6-hour one-way ride to get down to Puerto Princesa, the city with malls and stuff. And I had to buy myself a new phone. Now, well, let's see. It was an iPhone 5, I believe, iPhone 5S. I remember when I went to the phone store in the mall, it was full of young people. And there's a lot of different phone types there. There's more phone types than we know, right? In Asia, there's a lot of Chinese phones and Korean phones and Taiwanese phone makers, right? But I go in there and I'm like, I need an iPhone. And they were like, it's our time to shine. This lady's going to buy a new out of the box phone. She's not going to buy a used phone. We don't sell a whole lot of these, right? So I bought myself a new phone, a out of the box phone. I don't know if the 5S was new in 2016 or 2015, but I know it was in the box, unused. And that meant the next month, I need to find another, whatever it cost me, $300, $400, $500. I needed to find $500 or I'm not going to be able to make it to a full year, right? So I rode on the bus 6 hours to go get the phone and to get some cash because the ATM had been down. And then I rode on the van 6 hours back. It was a little tourist van. I'm only 5'9", but I remember almost having tears in my eyes about how little leg room, how my knees were jammed up against the seat in front of me. Like it was not comfortable. So I done spent this money. I done lost the most amazing photos I've ever taken in my life. And I've lost the phone, lost the photos, and lost the money. Now I got to replace this money. Horror story, right? Imagine being in a small town and on a small island and you ain't got no phone. I didn't buy my iPad until I had my iPad. I bought a laptop. I bought a used laptop when I was in Australia because I decided by then I need to start making some money. But I had an iPad. So I guess that's how I Googled how to get that van to take me down. Another thing that could have been disastrous, but oh well, like you got to go with the flow. So what I did to make up that money was when I got to Cambodia, instead of staying in a hostel or a hotel in Cambodia for part of the time, I did an extra work exchange. I added an extra work exchange. I am average height, Black Diamond. I am an average height person. Average height. All right. So that was number 2. Drown my phone on a small island and had to replace it on a teeny tiny island. Go with the flow. You do it. And then the last fear that I had, like the worst case scenario, was that I would just run out of money. I was planning this sabbatical and I'm going to run out of money. I made it home with $30-some in my account. I ran out of money. Oh, well. Now, I happened to run out of money after a year because of work exchanges, because I stayed in people's homes and did things for them. One home, I took care of their dogs. They were dog breeders and I took care of the dogs and I did some yard work, which I hated. And then for another family, I worked as a demi-pair, like I was a part-time au pair. I took care of the kids. I was able to have free accommodation. This was before I knew about house sitting. So I was able to have free accommodation for a good portion of the time. And then in Cambodia, I worked on a cricket farm. He called it an organic cricket farm, but I don't know that he was only giving them organic stuff. Anyway, I worked on a cricket farm because he sold cricket powder. Cricket powder is like a high protein, I think protein, and definitely high iron. And crickets have a lot of the minerals and nutrients that people need. So I worked on the cricket farm for a little while too, to recoup the money that I lost doing various dumb things. including drowning my phone. I'm telling you, I'm not really good at sharing images, but El Nido, I promise you, I have never been to a place as beautiful as El Nido. I've been to some beautiful places and I've seen some beautiful things. I've not seen what I saw in El Nido. I can't remember the two beaches. Now, I was on the beach and I met a Black woman and her daughter on one of the beaches in El Nido. And I was like, I've never been to a beach this beautiful. There was just those limestone, whatever they're called. Are they karsts that come out of the water? And she was like, well, you haven't been to enough of the Caribbean. I don't remember asking her where in the Caribbean what this looked like, but she was like, go to more of the Caribbean. This is beautiful. But I've seen this before. But that's a do-over I would like. I enjoyed the do-over to Lawan. I enjoyed the do-over to the Philippines. And I would like a do-over to Palawan. Coron and Palawan are two different islands that are very close together, and people usually do them like together or back to back. But if you just type in Palawan into your search engine, you'll see what I'm talking about. It really looks like that. Some places maybe it doesn't look so much like that, but it literally looks like that. And I believe I lost every single photo. Let me think about it. Because I wasn't uploading anything to the cloud. I think I lost every single photo, but it's in my heart. And I mean, it looks like these pictures. If you see a picture of like kayaks and stuff, that place where you kayak in there, I'm scrolling right now and I don't yet see what it looked like once you got inside. So I see a lot of pictures of the outside, them kayaking into that place, but it's not just a cave. Calling it a cave is doing it a disservice. It's incredibly beautiful. And it was so quiet. We were already on the ocean, but going in there, it was just so quiet and peaceful, but still light because it was open in the top. I was awestruck in that place. And so I would like to go back there and do that again at some point. From Lack to Legacy, hey Sandra, I need a Philippines redo too. I stayed in Manila. No. Yes. Yeah. Skip Manila if possible. In the Philippines, it's hard to go from island to, it's hard to skip Manila altogether. You generally have to start and end in Manila, but you can just give yourself hours in Manila, not days. Skip it. It was a sad, there were some beautiful malls, and I love going to a mall when I'm overwhelmed because malls are my happy place. You understand how it works and everything is familiar. So Manila had some nice malls, but it's not a city to visit, I don't think. But them islands, incredible. I got to islands a variety of ways. I took a really small airplane to one of the islands, which I wouldn't recommend. It might have been Cebu. No, I took a ferry to Cebu. I took one small airplane and I was like, they don't seem as concerned with safety as I would like this airplane to be. It was easy. It was easier than boarding the bus. They're not asking for anything. They don't know who I am. They just let me get on this plane. I took ferries. I took a big old ferry to Cebu, I think. I took small boats to some places. Bopped around. Bop. The Philippines was amazing, and they have the most beautiful sunsets. I saw during the World Cup, Europeans were like, is this what in the Europeans who were in the United States? I don't remember which city he was in. He was like, do y'all sunsets look like that all the time? It might have been in Kansas City. It looked like he was in a residential area. It might have been Kansas City. Do y'all sunsets look like that all the time? And some dude was like, do y'all have anything in Europe? Why are y'all so amazed with everything in the United States? But sunsets do not look the same everywhere. Everybody doesn't get the same experience based on the clouds and the air pressure and the whatever. Not everyone gets the same sunset. Here in Bogota, sometimes our sunsets are phenomenal. Sometimes they're not. In Delaware, in Dover, sunset's always nice in Dover. We got bomb sunrise and sunsets in Delaware because of the cloud cover. But the Philippines, Another level, another level. Sunsets on sunsets, right? All of Southeast Asia, as I recall, is a place where people would stop and watch the sun go down. In the Philippines, dogs stopped and watched the sun go down. Everybody is watching this. This they know it's not normal, right? Even though they've seen it every day of their lives, they still know it's not normal. I am an ambassador for visiting the Philippines. Hey, Cheryl. Oh, you want to go to the market tomorrow? I am not an ambassador for living in the Philippines, but I am an ambassador to going to those islands. If you snorkel, if you scuba, I can't imagine you wouldn't love it. But even like just getting your face in the water somewhere, incredible. Some of these islands are incredible. Some of them have white powdery sand. I went to the blackest sand. I went to beaches and I'd already been to a beach in Costa Rica that was called a black sand beach, but it was really just dark brown. I went to a beach in the Philippines where it was black sand, right? I recommend it. It's not the easiest. It was not the easiest place to navigate compared to like a Thailand, right? Thailand is so easy for tourists. The Philippines and in Vietnam, even if you're doing bus travel or plane travel, Philippines, you're probably traveling like a local, right? Which means I slept overnight on a ferry with my suitcase in my bunk bed with me. But it's extremely beautiful. I went to Cebu and I stayed in an Airbnb with a family, husband, wife. She was Filipino. He was some sort of white and they had a son. And so I stayed in their home with them. And she was like, "Where are you going next?" And I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "Here's where you're going next." Right. And every place I went, they would be like, "Here's the next island you should visit. Just, it's easy. Get on the ferry, go to this island, and get on the ferry, go to that island. Moal Boal is for surfers, and this island has those little tarsier, the little monkey things, the big eyes." I went to that island just to see them things, right? It was also an easier place to ride my motorbike around, like rent a motorbike and ride it around. Some of Thailand was easy, and some of Thailand was very scary. And Vietnam, some of it was very scary. In the Philippines, some of these islands were so spread out or like less congested that it was easier. I really, 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 really am going back to the Philippines sometime when I have some time, even if I just go to that one island. All right. But I wouldn't live in the Philippines. As I recall, internet was not good. And this was 2015, 2016 when I didn't have a job. And the food, surprisingly, as a person who has worked in hospitals and healthcare, I am used to them Filipino nurses throwing down, bringing you food, lumpia, right, and the pancit, and right, they eat the foods, adobo. But in the Philippines, on these islands, they're eating McDonald's and Jollibee and Pizza Hut, right? It was difficult to eat real Philippine food in those places, as surprisingly. Coca-Cola has a strong arm on these little islands that I don't even understand. In the morning, children get up, go to school. I was on Coron. This is on Coron Island. I stayed in a little neighborhood on the water, on stilts, right? A little house on stilts, kind of like a shanty town, right? On stilts. We're on the water. Everything is done on the water. The little stores are on stilts, and the school is on stilts, and the homes are on stilts. You would get up in the morning and see the school children walking past the little shop and buying Coca-Cola on their way to school. Right. So it was hard to eat Filipino food. I have had better Philippine food in Texas than I had in the Philippines. In the Philippines is fast food and other people's food. And so for the internet reason and the food reason and the infrastructure reasons, I would say the Philippines is a wonderful place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. I'm sure even 10 years later. Okay. I'd like to visit a place like the Philippines with a group of girlfriends. Organize it, Nichelle. Let us know. Okay, let us know. I'm telling you, Palawan looks like the pictures. It was the most beautiful place I've ever been. It was wonderful. Now, it was tourists pour in and pour out. I stayed there for a long time, maybe at a long time, 2 or 3 weeks. Whereas most tourists come in and out because there's not much else to do. Once you do the day tour, there's not much else to do. But I'm going to do nothing. I don't mind doing nothing. But it's full of tourists, and that was 10 years ago, so I'm sure it's worse. But those tours, and I'm not a strong snorkeler because I don't swim. I don't really know how to swim. I just know how to float. They put them vests on me, and a Filipino man would be like, just hold on to me. I'm going to swim around. You just hold on. That's how I snorkeled in these beautiful places. Just put your head in the water. Hold on to me. I'll drag you around. I went on the tour in Coron, and they were like, we're taking three or four snorkeling stops. I got out. I did the first one, the second one, third one. Finally, it's time for the last stop. And I'm like, I'm not going to do this one. I'm not going to do it because this man been dragging me around. He's tired. I'm tired. I'm just going to stay on the boat. Don't you know? Then people came back talking about, I have snorkeled and scubaed all over the world, and I've never seen what I just saw today. I'm like, I messed it up. I missed it. So I got to snorkel in Coron one more time. I got to do that same tour again. And I got to do that same tour in El Nido again because I couldn't, I'd messed up both times. I was like, I'm not going to do it. It was called Coral Gardens, the last stop we took. They called it Coral Garden. They were like, I have scuba dived and all over the world, and I've never seen what we just saw today. The coral and the fish and the turtles and the... Okay, I get it. I get it. So I came back to my back to my hostel and watched the video, watched the YouTube video to see what I might have missed. Right? Adelia says the Philippines is where the best food is at somebody's house. Nobody invited me to their house, which is not. I mean, people rarely invite me to their house, but nobody. Like, y'all know I'm here to eat. What is going on? Okay, horror stories though. Philippines, drowned my phone. No big deal. It ended up being no big deal. Okay, you ready to move into some house sitting horror stories? I only have 3. So the one horror story, I house sat for a full month for a lady in Guanajuato, Mexico. It's beautiful. I love Guanajuato. It's a city on a hill, right? Or it's in a bowl and up into the hill. So you can, if you stay down, you have a good view of the mountains. If you stay up, you have a good view down into the city. And I house sat for a lady who lived on a resort in Guanajuato. She lived on a, what is it called, a resort? You know, where it's temporary. It's supposed to be a vacation villa, but she lived there. So I house sat for her for a month, and she had 2 cats, and she was doing some sort of naturopathic thing to not have the cats have fleas, but they were indoor-outdoor cats. They went out when they felt like it. And I was like, no, indeed. I saw the cat come in with a dead, what did he bring in? Toby and Laura. Toby brought in a dead mouse and a dead lizard, or a dead bird. Maybe a dead mouse and a dead bird on 2 different occasions. And I was like, these animals need actual flea collars or flea drops. And then I started itching. I don't know, because I can give myself a disease in a minute. I don't know if the cats had fleas or if I was itching, but I had to go to the store and buy them some flea collars to put on. I knew, like, she's not going to be happy with me giving them the flea drops, but if I at least put a flea collar on these cats while I'm here and wash the bedding, we're gonna be okay. It was a tile house. The floor was tile and a lot of the furniture was wood, right? So I was like, I believe there were fleas, but I can't say for sure. Because I can itch. I can start itching just thinking about itching. But I know once he brings in a dead mouse, he got fleas, right? Like, there's no way he's killing a mouse and a bird and bringing them in and he don't have fleas. We're not using the naturopathic stuff. I'm going to put a flea collar on these cats. One, horror story, right? From all of my house sits, that's number one. Number two is the dog who, when I tried one time, I was just couldn't get his little, he had one of those pronged collars for dogs that are hard to walk. And I couldn't get the collar off of him. And I squeezed it one too many times and he was, he barked at me, got in my face, and he backed me up against the wall. And I was like, no, get down. And he got down. But we had a good 3 scary seconds where I was like, he's baring his teeth. I'm like, if this dog bites me in my neck, I am a goner. And then I contacted the lady and she was like, well, yeah, my last house sitter had to call animal control on him, right? This is why I say read the reviews and don't house sit for people who don't have reviews, because there's a reason somebody house sat for them but didn't leave them a review. My tamale lady's riding by. So number 2 horror story, the bad dog. After I was like, no, get down, bad dog, right? He got down. He went into his kennel. I closed him in his little kennel. I'm like, you can't come out here until I feel like it. You're not coming out here until dinner, right? We had just taken a walk. You're not coming out here until it's time for you to eat. And then when I opened the door and he came out, he was so happy. He still had his collar on. Right? He wanted to sit on the sofa with me and watch TV. I'm like, no, we're not friends. You sit on the floor. But we didn't have any other problems. Even from then on, I believe that was the second afternoon. So I got there in the evening. We were fine getting the collar on and off that evening and that morning. But I think that was the second walk of the day and so I just kept that collar on him the whole time. He let me put the leash on the collar. He had no problem with me attaching the leash to the collar, but he wouldn't let me get close to the latch. Well, I don't know that I tried to get close to the latch anymore, right? We still walked. He was so excited to go outside, right? He thought we were friends. But that was the second house sitting horror story. My third was just, I opened up the woman's dishwasher when I got there and her menstrual cup was in the dishwasher with the dishes. And so I, plastic silverware and paper plates. And that was only a 1 weekend house sit. That was a little teeny tiny kitten, the cutest kitten ever. Cutest kitten ever. Even cuter than Tico. It was a little itty bitty teeny tiny kitten. They may have had a dog too. I think they had a dog too. But I only remember the kitten. Beautiful house. It was beautiful. But I was like, I will never. Normally, when I get to a house sit, I run the dishwasher anyway. Even if all the dishes are clean and put away, I'm running the dishwasher. I love getting to a house sit and the dishwasher is running. Sometimes I'll still run it again, right? Run it again. You never know. But seeing the menstrual cup, getting there and the dishwasher's running, but then I open up the thing and her menstrual cup is in the top rack. I can't trust you. I can't trust you. There's nothing I'm doing. Thankfully, this was in Florida and there's Wawa in Florida. There was Wawa. This was it Clearwater? So I went to Wawa. I got me 3 days of subs and soup. I think it might have been a 2-day house sit, 2 or 3 days. Soup and subs and plasticware and paper plates, and went on about my business. Hey, Max, a menstrual cup is, instead of a tampon, it's a silicone cup that you insert vaginally to catch the blood. It's a blood catcher. And then you pull it out and dump it into the toilet. Clean it, wash it. Most people, I believe, wash theirs in the sink. I washed mine in the bathroom sink. I traveled with a menstrual cup for quite a while. I would never have thought to put it in the dishwasher. Even if I had washed it, I still wouldn't put it in the dishwasher with my dishes. I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher, period. It just would never have occurred to me to do that. I can't imagine. This was a family, a woman with a family. I don't understand. It would never have occurred to me. When I pull out the drawer and I see it, I'm like, no, what else could this be? Because ain't no way. There's no way that's what this is. I've probably done 75 house sits, I would guess. I've got 3 horror stories and I still house sit. And I'm paying rent right now and I still have alerts set for nice house sits that I want to do, right? So it didn't turn me away. It justified my rewashing of dishes that I often do when I get to house sits, almost always. I'm gonna say always. It justified the fact that I will take dishes out of your cabinets, run them in the dishwasher again. It justified my actions, but it was so upsetting. Man, I went to Wawa so fast. I was like, I can't, there's nothing in here that I can eat or drink or put in my mouth. There's nothing in this house that I can put in my mouth. Not a fork, not a straw, not the creamer. If I go to your house and you say I'm welcome to things, I'm using your coffee creamer, or your if you have half and half, I'm using your half and half. No, I bought everything I needed for 3 days. I bought not your instant coffee. I bought it all. I went to Wawa. I couldn't get to Wawa fast enough. I never would have thought to do that. I was a menstrual cup girly. I used a menstrual cup for probably I started using the menstrual cup when I was due on that first year, started in 2015, because I know a lot around the world, tampons are not readily accessible. There are countries where tampons are so restricted that the tampon makers won't sell them there or can't sell them there. What the United States lets us put in our vaginas, other parts of the world are like, no, right? Organic cotton only, right? And so I knew that tampons weren't going to be readily accessible. And I knew that I wanted to spend a lot of time in the water, on the beach, in a pool, whatever. So I started using the menstrual cup before that year so I could get used to it, before September of 2015. And I probably used it for like a year or so, and then I came back to the United States briefly. Then when I went to South Africa, I don't remember, and then I got back into it later. I used it for that full year, and then I used it again later. It would never have occurred to me. It would never have occurred to me to put that in the dishwasher. But anyway, so I pulled out the drawer and I was like, what else could this be? I know good and well this lady's menstrual cup is not in this dishwasher with these dishes. I know that's not what this is. I was like, could it be a measuring cup? Right, but it's got a little stem on the end. Nobody wants a measuring cup that doesn't stand on its own. What else could this thing be? I was like, there's nothing else. That I know what a menstrual cup looks like. This looks like a menstrual cup. This is okay. All right. It would never have occurred. What was she doing? Hey, Sharjay. What? I got in my car so fast. Thankfully, this was when I was on a house sitting road trip in my car in Goldie, the car I used to have. I got in that car so fast. I was like, dog, cat, I'll see y'all in a little bit. I'm going to Wawa. I'm going to Wawa. I got to go. But those are my only horror stories. I'm going to guess 75 house sits. I don't know. I don't know the number. I don't know. 75 house sits. How many years? 2017 to... I didn't house sit in 2026, but I did house sit in 2020. No, I house sat for Angela in 2026. So 2017 to 2016, 9 years of house sits, 3 horror stories. One of them was maybe there was fleas and maybe it was my mind. One of them was a dog that should not have been on the platform. She should have had that dog with a professional. I would have put that dog, if kennels take bad dogs, I would have boarded that dog or something. And then the other one nasty lady, one nasty house. It wasn't even a nasty house. The house was beautiful. It was one nasty thing out of 75 house sits. Read the reviews. I've linked to Trusted House Sitters already in the description of this video. Read the reviews and don't take people who don't have reviews. That's what I've learned. And yeah, there are plant sits. Now they go really quickly. If someone posts a house sit with no pets, that house sit is getting snatched up because that everybody wants it. Everyone wants it. So if you are on the Trusted House Sitters platform, you need to have your alerts set and you need to be a fast actor. You can't be the kind of person who's like, oh, look, there's a house sit in Barbados with no pets. Let me think on that for a day before I apply. You're never going to get it. You're never going to get it, right? You need to be a fast actor. You need to be like, my phone just alerted me 4 seconds ago. I have already applied for this house sit, right? I've copied and pasted my letter. I've had people say like, you are fast, right? How did I just hit enter on this house sit? How did you already apply for the house sit? I'm like, I want it. Okay. Trusted House Sitters. Let me give you the link here. It's in the description of the video already. This is my affiliate link to Trusted House Sitters. It's also my new house sitter toolkit, toolkit for new house sitters. It's a free download with the letter, with that very letter that I copy and paste. I copy and paste the letter and then change things, change their name, the pet's name, the city, right? Refer to anything that I need to refer to. But I'll link to them here and they're already in the description. It's hard for me to rank house sits because I've had so many wonderful ones. I had a full summer in Tampa. For me, long house sits are always going to outrank the shorter ones. I love just being there. I don't like travel days. I don't like moving from place to place. I had a beautiful house sit on Davis Island in Tampa where some professional athletes live. It was a multi-million-dollar home. It was beautiful. They had a lot of pets. I think they had 4 dogs. And I walked those dogs in Tampa morning and night in the heat. And it was still the most amazing thing. This is another like horror story, but only specific to me. In that house sit, they were like, people ride around this island on golf carts. Our golf cart, they had 2 separate garages. Our golf cart is in this garage. If you want to ride around on the golf cart, have at it. I go to open up the garage door from inside the house, and the first thing I see is a mannequin, and I am afraid of mannequins. They had Halloween decorations in the garage with the golf cart, so I never got to ride the golf cart. I closed that door so fast, I was like, well, that's one experience I won't have. I will not ride around their house, have their island on a golf cart. This is the same road trip where I had my car. So I just took my car when I needed to go further than I could walk in the heat. I opened that thing. As soon as I opened it up, it was was it Freddy or Jason? It was Freddy Krueger, a big old Freddy Krueger mannequin. That's what I saw. There were other things in there, so I'm sure there were other Halloween, but I saw Freddy and I was like, nope. I will not. Her best friend and her parents both came by the house at different times for different reasons. And so it didn't occur to me to ask them to back the golf cart out. I think if I had asked her dad when they came by, dad came by to get some packages, I think. And then the bestie came by for some other reason. If I had asked one of them, if I'd been like, listen, I'm afraid of Freddy Krueger. I'm afraid of human-sized mannequins. Please, can you help me? He would have backed it out because her car was in the other garage and we could have just switched garages. And I think they had mentioned Halloween. Either they had mentioned it before or they mentioned it after that they were really into Halloween. I was like, no, I will not. Another horror story that's only a horror story to me. It didn't impact my sleep. Even though I had to walk past that very garage door every day to get to my bedroom was downstairs. Everybody else's bedrooms were upstairs, and I was the only downstairs. but it didn't bother me. It didn't affect me the rest of the time. I am afraid of mannequins. I'm afraid of mannequins that look like people, not mannequins without a face, and not small mannequins. But if it's human sized with a face, I don't know that that's not really a killer. How do I know that's not the killer? And so, no golf cart for Stephanie. Everybody else is on the golf cart. I saw a Tampa Bay. I saw a hockey player. I spent hours trying to figure out who I saw, right? Because he looked like this is an athlete. They told me that there were professional athletes who lived on the island. And I'm like, oh, I saw a black dude who I wasn't sure. He was big. So I'm like, he might be an athlete. But I didn't look him up. But I did look up the hockey player. I was like, because that they were in the playoffs. Hockey play, yeah, because I got there early June. I think hockey playoffs are still going on in June. Either they were in the playoffs or they had just gone to the finals or something. So I spent time trying to figure out who he was. I remember looking him up and being like, "This is who I saw." You know how people who expect you to recognize them, how they look when they expect you to recognize them. So anyway, beautiful island, beautiful home. I would say that's my favorite just because it was 3 months. It's one of the longest that I've done. I've done a couple of 3-month house sits, but it was the most lavishly appointed home. They had a movie theater room. They had a theater room. Beautiful pool. I love that pool. Their backyard was top tier. Housekeeper who came in, 2 women came to clean the house. I think once a week while I was there. They probably came more often when they were there. The office was nice. It was just a really chill experience. The island was beautiful. Tampa in itself is nice. It's really nice. Like just driving to the grocery store in Tampa, palm trees impressed me, right? And I'm like, this town is nice. I had a friend from the Army who moved to Tampa. And I always used to be like, why Tampa? It doesn't sound that exciting. But I was like, this is a cute town, cute city. But, I've had some beautiful house sits around the world. But I would say because of the length of time, that's going to be my favorite. They had dogs Truffles, some of y'all might remember, Truffles wouldn't go on walks. When I walked the other dogs, Truffles was like, no, thank you. I poop in the yard. So I had to scoop and walk. I had to scoop the dogs, clean up the poop for the dogs I walked, and I had to go poop or scoop for Truffles. It was a delight though. They had a really nice coffee maker. It was a delightful experience. But I've had quite a few delightful experiences. Beautiful place in the Netherlands during flower season. Also a beautiful home. Lots of good experiences. I wouldn't still do it if it wasn't still amazing. Okay, so we've talked about my bopping horror stories. We talked about my house sitting horror stories. So now I'm just going to be nitpicky. Costa Rica, this is not a horror story. This is just, you need to know these things. And I don't know that if I've talked about these things enough. Costa Rica, they don't do addresses. And it can be really frustrating if you're not able to just relax into that. When you book an Airbnb in Costa Rica, that house may have a name, and that name may show up on Google Maps. You may just be able to put in Casa Estefany and get to their house, but most likely your address is going to be Church of Our Lady of Fatima, right? Iglesia de la Reina de Fatima, right? 1 kilometer north, Black House. And that can be frustrating. I didn't care because, once you get there one time, you drop a pin and you don't have a problem after that. Once you get there one time and you put it into Uber and you put it into Google Maps, you're good. But the problem is getting there one time. Now, if you're in a condo, you've got a condo building name, easy, right? If you're staying in a condo, you just put in the name of the condo building, you're getting there. But if you're renting, I was in Costa Rica in San Jose to look for a house, not a house to buy, but a house to rent. And so I booked Airbnbs so that I could ask them if I could stay for a year. right? I'm like, I'm gonna book this Airbnb for a couple weeks, and if I like it, I'll see if I can stay there for a year. So I did that, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 different times in 6 different neighborhoods. Never found anything I really liked. But for some people, that might be a real problem. Horror story, Costa Rica, no addresses, no addresses. Even in the on the beaches, right? It'll be like, one of them was, there was some sort of shop, like one of the houses, they turned it into a store. And so it was just directly across the street from this store, even though it was a house, you know. But like, no addresses. I think we're out of horror stories. Here in Colombia, what is my horror story? I can't use their version of Amazon. My credit cards will not work on their version of Amazon, which is Mercado Libre. Which is just annoying because the only way I can get the peanut, they have peanut butter here, mantequilla de maní. Here they use maní for peanut. Every country calls a peanut a different things, apparently, because I thought it was, is it cacahuete? Cacahuete? Here it's maní, but it's much runnier than I want. And I can just buy Jif peanut butter here if I can get on Mercado Libre. But Mercado Libre won't, my credit cards or my debit cards keep canceling every order I put in Mercado Libre. I've tried every credit card and every debit card I've had. I've forewarned them. I've done everything. There's no PayPal option in Colombia. There's no PayPal option here, but there is an Efectivo. You can pay cash. So you can order things online and then go to the Efecti. There's a little Efecti. It's like a, I assume it's like a Western Union. They're all over the city. You can go to Efecti and pay cash. I was supposed to go to Efecti when Cheryl and I met up for the meetup on last Saturday? I had 3 stops I needed to make. We were going to we had sushi together, and then I needed to go pay my gas bill. And then I needed to go pay Efecti for what I was ordering on Mercado Libre, some peanut butter, my record player, Olay Regenerist serum. I'm so sick of my face looking like this. I'm so sick of my skin breaking out over and over again. I need to go back to the serum that I used to use. And I was supposed to stop at Efecti. I'd ordered some stuff Friday night. I'm going to go to Efecti the next day and pay for my stuff. I forgot. Well, I did so much shopping at the shop that I forgot. I bought stuff. I bought pillows. I bought stuff I didn't need when I went to pay my gas bill because it's in the mall. And so I forgot to pay my stuff. Then when I went back to Efecti, back to Mercado Libre the second time to reorder, I added in another item. And I'm like, let me cash out now and I'll go to Efecti right now. No option for cash. No option, that option is taken away from me. I thought it was because I had waited too long and missed the window and they were punishing me. But it turns out the other thing that I added in, what did I add in? Was coming from the US, a speaker. And that speaker, that Marshall speaker, y'all know that Marshall speaker, it was not eligible for cash. So I'm gonna try it again. I took it out of my cart. I took the speaker out of my cart. As soon as we're done today, I believe, I'm gonna go ahead and hit purchase with cash. I'm gonna take my number and go to the Efecti and I'm gonna pay for my cash things and I'm gonna get my peanut butter. I'm gonna get my Jif peanut butter. I ordered Jif peanut butter, Olay Regenerist, a record player. I'm gonna have to figure out the speaker later. If the record player has a little speaker, has a built-in speaker, but I would like a Bluetooth for the dining room. I feel like there was another couple things, small things that I just need that I can only get on Mercado Libre. So my nightmare, my horror story here is just that their version of Amazon, which is called Mercado Libre, none of my credit cards or debit cards will allow me to purchase through them. They'll go through and then they'll be like, no, even the Amex went through. And then it was like, oh, we've canceled this. Not like, is this valid? Is this legitimate? We've canceled this. I'm like, it said approved. USAA, I have several USAA cards. USAA was like, nope, First, we're going to send you a code. Okay, enter the code. Okay, did you make this purchase? Yes. Okay, go back and tell them on the website that you made this purchase, and still they would decline it over and over. USAA was like, no, absolutely not. But Amex was like, okay, oh, psych, gotcha, sucker. So Effecti, I took the speaker out of my cart, so I'm gonna do the try Effecti one more time, and then I'll just buy a speaker in town somewhere. No, this is totally, I'm 52. This is a totally new experience. This is a result of me using sunscreen because y'all told me to use sunscreen and my skin hasn't been right since. I have good skin. I have had good skin for 51 years and a half, 51 and a half years. Good skin was like my all I have in this world is thick hair, strong nails, good skin, and the sunscreen took that away from me. I've not looked like this. I looked at pictures of myself just from a year ago wearing the exact same amount of makeup. I'm so upset about it. My face has I've never, even one time when I was probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago, Tyra Banks was on Oprah talking about she puts Vaseline on her face at night. They did that age progression thing and they showed that Tyra Banks, they had some models on the stage. Tyra Banks, they did her age progression and hers was like 0. She was not going to look any different at 60 than she looked at whatever she was, 25, right? And I was like, well, she's using Vaseline, I'm gonna use Vaseline. Nope. I broke out all over my forehead. And then I tried to use something to clear it up, and then it got worse. This is what broke me out, right? Black Girl Sunscreen is what broke me out. Y'all told me to use sunscreen because I'm using retinol and because I'm close to the sun in Bogota. Y'all told me to use sunscreen, and look at me. I've never looked like this. I have makeup on. Me looking like 101 Dalmatians. I've never looked like, I got good skin. I had good skin. So now I'm done with sunscreen. And I'm going to go back to the Olay Super Serum. That Olay Super Serum is a super serum. I don't care. And you can't buy it in stores here for some reason, but you can buy it on Mercado Libre, and it's only a 2 or 3 day delivery. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how they have it, but not in the stores. Y'all did. I was like, I have enough melanin that I don't need sunscreen. There's different levels of melanin, right? Melanin scientists level melanin, I think 0 to 7 or 1 to 7. I'm high up on the melanin scale. My melanin takes care of things for me. And y'all were like, no, you need sunscreen. Wear sunscreen. You're close to the sun and whatever. And then the internet was like, and now that you're using retinol, you absolutely have to use sunscreen. I look not myself. Right? Used to be, people would be like, drop the skincare routine, sis. Right? There's a reason y'all are not asking me that anymore. And the reason is I added sunscreen to my routine. And now nobody thinks my skin looks good. It's upsetting. Like, all I have in this world was good skin. And that's what this niacinamide is, one of the main active ingredients in that super serum. I used Olay Regenerist serum back in the day, and they rebranded it as super serum. I think it's the same serum. It may be something else added in. I am a fan. It's Olay. It's a drugstore product. I am a fan of that super serum. To try out a new serum, I'll put it on the back of one hand and not the other. And I put that Olay Super Serum on the back of one hand for however long I used the bottle. And my hands were noticeably different, right? The Super Serum hand, I always put it on the same hand because I'm left-handed, right? I always pumped it on this hand. The Super Serum hand looked so good. It used to be called Regenerist Serum. I'm not sponsored by Olay. And then, people are like, well, Olay is, here's some problems with Olay products. So I got off of it and added the sunscreen. I haven't been right since. So I got some super serum coming. As soon as I go to the Effecti and pay for my super serum, it should be here within 2 or 3 days. So we'll see. I don't really mind the white cast from sunscreen because I don't know these people. I don't mind walking around with a white face because I was only wearing the sunscreen when I would go out to work out. I would go to the park and do my little, what's it called? Couch to 5K training. So I don't mind a sunscreen with a white cast. I don't care. I don't know these people. I don't care if I have a white face while I'm outside working out. What I don't want is to be broken out. I don't want to lose. I have on the same amount of makeup that I had on this time last year, and my skin looks like this. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. So, horror story number 2, Columbia horror story number 2, sunscreen. They tell you need it, but they don't tell you what it does to you. My head is too big for visors. I buy a visor quite often with hopes and dreams. I can't wear a visor. I feel like a visor is a wonderful solution to this. Just wear a visor when I'm working out. Have my little visor on like the senior citizens do. But my head is too big. I can't wear visors. Yeah, I don't know this. I don't care about a white cast because I'm not wearing sunscreen like to work or right. I only leave the house to go work out and then I come back home. White cast, I don't care. Mostly, I just don't want it to mess up my face. This is not how I want to look. It's not how I'm used to looking. So I can't wait to get this Olay Regenerist back on me. It's got some work to do. It's got some heavy lifting to do. But I'm telling you, Nidra, with the same diet, the same everything, my skin was good. Y'all used to ask me, what is going on with your skin? Why does your skin look? I had great skin. Only thing I changed, added sunscreen and couldn't buy Olay Regenerist. And I look like this. Nobody asked me what I'm doing with my skin anymore. Right? Same diet, worse diet. I had a worse diet. I eat better here lately. I've eaten better here. In Costa Rica, when I was in Airbnbs and house sits and stuff, I still ate a lot of McDonald's and whatever. But here, my go-to Rappi when I'm not cooking anything is a restaurant called Baku. And they make good soups, good salads. I really like their mashed potatoes. They have a chicken and mashed potatoes or a beef and mashed potato, like a pepper beef. It's not a pepper steak, but pepper beef and mashed potatoes. So even when I order out here, I'm ordering and making better choices. It's not the food. I mean, sure, like food, sure, impacts your whatever. But I have good skin and it was not impacted by me eating lots and lots of McDonald's and pizza. It was impacted by the sunscreen and no Olay Regenerist to counteract the sunscreen. I'm upset about it. I mean, this is not me. That's not me, man. I don't know. So my thing does filter things. I don't know if you're seeing the extent of the damage that was done to my face, but I can see it. My StreamYard and whatever, these devices, they do filter you sometimes without your permission. Sometimes I'd be like, I don't look like that. Some of these things do filter you every now and then. But this is not me. This is not the Stephanie that y'all would always be like, oh my gosh, skincare. What are you using? So now I got to take months and months and fix it. No good deed goes unpunished. No good deed goes unpunished. I drink a lot of water. Some of that is dryness. I drink a lot of water. I go through, I don't know how much this is though. I do drink a lot of water, which is why one of the reasons I had great skin. I drink a lot of water. I get my sleep, even though these last 2 Fridays I have not gotten my sleep. But I drink a lot of water. I get my sleep. I eat better than I ever have, probably since as an adult, right? And I'm not happy. Laundry detergent on bedding. No, because I've been using this detergent. I've been here since January of 2025. And this all happened when I came back and started using sunscreen. Like it's literally, I stopped Regenerist. I ran out of my Regenerist around November of 2025. And I switched over to CeraVe and something else. But I didn't break out and lose my clear skin. I didn't switch to this kind of skin until I got back. I got back here in February and was on Couch. I started Couch to 5K back in Delaware in October or November. I don't know. I may have started it before then. But when I got back here in February and I was going to the park several times a week to do my intervals while wearing sunscreen, that's when this happened. And nothing changed. I've been here and I've been using the same detergent. Nothing changed except for that. That's the change. I would tell y'all if I will come up with, I am a diagnostician. I will diagnose some things, but I also tell you if I'm ignoring some things. I'm not ignoring any other change. I've been in menopause. I've been in menopause for years, 3 years now, 2 years at least, or no cycle for 2 years, menopause for 1 year. Or is it no cycle for 3 years and I've been in menopause for 2 years? It's been years of menopause. Like there's no other change except that I started wearing sunscreen. My melanin was like, I told you I had you. And here you go, trying to add in these other things. Okay, so those are my horror stories. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Okay. Did I get to your questions? If you asked me a question that you want answered and I didn't answer it, type it again if you don't mind. Jazzy D, have you tried a dermatologist? Yeah, I have a dermatologist here. No, I've been here. So I've been here since January, really end of December 2024, January 2025. And this didn't happen until March of 2026 when I had been using sunscreen, February or March of 2026. You can go back to my videos. If you go back to my videos, you'll see it's not the water. I've been here. I've been in this apartment for a year. Even if it was the water in this building, I've been in this apartment for a year and 2 weeks. The only thing that changed February/March was that I started wearing sunscreen. My teeth are not white. My teeth are like teeth colored. This thing is filtering me. I'm on StreamYard. Even when you turn them off, they filter you. This is a problem with the internet. It's not to be trusted. It's filtering me. When you see me in person, my teeth are not white. My teeth are teeth colored, even a little. I don't know. They're not white teeth. The thing is filtering me. People do say that online. They'd be like, your teeth are so white, but they're not. If you saw me in a picture beside somebody who does have white teeth, you see the difference. The internet is not to be trusted. StreamYard, you can turn off the filters and they'll still filter you. I'm convinced of it. StreamYard and Google Meet filter me against my will. I don't need more things to have a complex about. I am anti-filter for me because I will then be like, well, why don't I look as good as the filter? I don't want to live that way. And so I hardly ever use filters even on Instagram when I'm having fun. I hardly ever use filters. They have one filter that they got rid of it. The creator deleted it. They had one filter that used to make me look like some sort of like robot automaton. I used to love that filter. Other than that, I don't use filters because I don't want to give myself more complexes than I already have, right? There's already enough stuff where I'm like, nitpicking. When you stare at your face for hours a day on Zoom calls, on coaching calls, on live streams, on recording video, right? When you stare at your face for hours a day, there's already enough like damage that you do to yourself brain-wise. I don't need the filters doing more damage to me. Good news is I am very vain and I do think I look good, right? I do think I look good. I do have a high opinion of myself and my appearance. And, some days higher than others, but I do have a high opinion of how I look. And so, yeah. So anyway, filter, but I don't want the damage that filters will do. I also think some of you friends are doing damage to your own psyche with these AI generated images of you, because that's not what you look like. And then when you see yourself, you think something is wrong. Years and years and years ago, my parents took my sister to Disney World and her kids. And my mom came back to me and she was like, is your face swollen? And I was like, no, you've been looking at that other chick for weeks. We do resemble. And now you're looking at me and I look off, right? Looking at yourself with filtered images or with AI images of yourself is not good for you. It can't be good for you. It can't be good for your mental health, for your well-being. There's no way, right? Some of the very same people who will be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did Botox. I've done Botox twice. I don't have plans to do it again because it hurt. I don't like pain. I don't have any plans to do it ever again. I may. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, but I may. But some of the very same people who are like, I can't believe you got Botox, are like, not you on the internet. Right? You're posting pictures of you that are not you, girl. That's not you. I've met you. That's not you. What are you doing to your psyche? Right? I want to dye my hair. I don't want to have gray hair at this particular moment in life. And there are people who will be judgmental about that, but then be another person on the internet with all these AI generated. That's not you, friend. That's not you, right? It can't be good. It can't be good for you. And so that is a beef I have. Sometimes I'll show up on a meeting with Rashida on Google Meet and I'll be like, this thing is filtering the crap out of me because I just saw myself. I don't look like that. Right. And now you're telling the things that they're fixing, quote unquote, are things that I don't even think are wrong with me. Right. My teeth are teeth colored. My teeth are not white. I don't think there's a problem. I do whiten my teeth every now and then, but I don't think it's a problem that my teeth are teeth colored and not white. Don't give me a complex on having teeth that are teeth colored. That's the color of teeth. Until like 5 years ago, teeth were not white. We went through this mass psychosis where we believed that teeth are supposed to be white, like the color of this thing on my screen, the color where it says vicarious. We went through a thing where we believed that teeth should be that color, but no, teeth were teeth colored until like 5 years ago. Right? Now, all of a sudden, teeth are supposed to be white. And my computer is trying to convince me that something's wrong with me because my teeth are the color of teeth. Right? Not white. I don't need that complex. I don't need things smallening my nose. My nose is my nose size. I don't need a filter contouring my nose. I don't appreciate that. I don't need a complex about my nose. Right? I don't need that complex. Making my chin smaller. I don't need a smaller chin. My face is moon shaped. I don't need you to change the shape of my face ever so slightly until I can't stand my chin. I don't need it. All right? I don't need that filter. Thank you. Right? I got enough things. Right? I've talked in depth about my eyelids. I'm not a fan of my eyelids. Of all the things the filters want to change about me, the nose, the lips, my lips are not I don't have, they could stand a little fulling. They could stand a little fullening. Right? I already have eyelid complex. I don't need lip and nose and chin complexes. I don't need it. Leave me alone. I feel good about me. I have a healthy self-esteem, right? About how I look. I get hollered at enough. I feel good about the way I look, and I don't need the internet, the computer, right? These platforms and these software things changing that. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Right? There's enough stuff. Enough. How many things am I supposed to be concerned about? Right? Some of these things the filter does, it never would have occurred to me to consider that a problem. Now the filter is changing it, which is supposed to make me think it's a problem. Right? I don't think colored teeth is a problem. I don't think it's a problem. Right? I don't think a chin that juts out, I don't think that's a problem. The filter says that's a problem. Right? I got enough. I got eyebrow and eyelid. My eyebrows and eyelids are enough things for me to obsess about. I don't need this extra stuff. The lip plumping, I'm aware that most Black women with my phenotype have more lip square area. The area of my lips are relatively small for my face. I'm aware, right? I don't need you to give me a complex about that. I do use plumper. I got this, what is this? Paula's Choice, highly recommended. Pro Collagen Peptide Gloss Balm. It's supposed to plump your lips. I can't say that it does, but I do wear it. You can see, maybe you can see. I've gone through this tube. I use it, but I don't want to feel bad about my lips. Visibly plumps, smooths, and hydrates lips. Anybody use this for any amount of time? Did it do anything? I got enough stuff to worry about. Okay. I got enough stuff to worry about. I don't need to add to it. Beauty is as beauty does. Yeah, so I feel good about myself, and I don't want to do things that are going to contribute to me not feeling good about myself. One more time, I'm going to say, I'm not saying I'm not going to go back and get Botox again. It did a wonderful job. Now I have a headband on today, but I have a line right here where my skin is falling down, and I have a line right here. You can see this one. You can't see this one, I don't think, because of my headband. Botox did a wonderful job of getting rid of those lines, but it hurts. And you got to keep doing it. I'll do as little as possible. I don't want to keep doing that stuff. No, I don't mean that, because I may do it again. But I'm not going to keep on a schedule. I'm not keeping on a schedule. Right? My lines here, they're just going to have to be, because I'm getting poked in the face. It hurts. It hurts. Oh, you don't know if yours works or not. If anybody knows of one, I wouldn't mind applying a lip gloss that's going to plump me up I also have this one seemed to work, but only for a few minutes. Tarte Maracuja Lip Plump, but it's a few minutes, and the Paula's Choice is supposed to be a longer term. I don't know. Face yoga. I've been told more than once to try face yoga. I don't even do body yoga, girl. Let's close things out. How did we do? I'm supposed to be giving you time to re-ask any questions. If you have questions about the thing that you think is going to be horrific. Another thing we didn't talk about is there are lots of places in the world, not just Costa Rica, where you don't flush your toilet paper. You wrap it up and put it in a trash can, in a lidded trash can, and then you take that trash out every day. Or you can take it out more than once a day if you want. I think that's a relatively easy thing to get used to. Small towns in Mexico and Costa Rica, that's pretty common. To me, that's an easy thing to get used to, but maybe to you it's not. I don't have any horror story around it, but it is a thing that you should know. Your plump gloss is LA girl. Okay, I'll try some. I do think with age, our lips, all I can think of is shrivel, but that's not kind. But I think with age, it is nice to add a little plumping gloss to the lips. And I would like something that does. This Paula's Choice is supposed to be like the Tarte, it's for a few seconds, but the Paula's Choice is supposed to be a longer term thing. All right. My lady in Colombia, they don't do no painkiller. Or maybe let's see, she wipes me down, but that's not a painkiller. That's just a clean off the makeup thing. No, and I don't like pain, right? There are people who can deal with pain, and there are people who seem to enjoy the painful option. I'm on the way other end of that spectrum. I don't want it, right? Now, if I had young children and people kept asking me if I'm their grandmother and not their mother, I might go back to the Botox and the fillers. I might go back, right? Don't count me out. I don't want that. I think that might force me back to the Botox. But right now, for just to be looking at myself, right? It's not like I go places and do things. To be looking at myself, I don't think it's worth the pain. It was not worth the pain for me. I did it 2 times, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna keep doing this unless, right? I would have to have I don't know, something. I need a better reason than just so that I can look at myself. Because I can just put my hair in a puff if I really need to look younger. More puffs, fix my skin and wear more puffs. Remember how Ross on Friends, I don't remember what he did, and he had super white teeth, and then he went into the bathroom and they glowed in the dark. White teeth used to be a joke, and we let the white teeth industrial complex convince us that teeth are not supposed to be teeth colored. They're supposed to be white. I mean, they're supposed to be teeth. There's a color or colors. There's colors in there. It's not white. Bones and teeth, they're not supposed to be white. I think bones and teeth are the same material. And then you take pictures. Then you take pictures with people who even have filters. They always use a filter on their camera, on their phone. And then you take pictures with them and they send you the picture. And then you were like, girl, who is that? That's not you. And that's not me. I don't look like that. Stop it. Right? Some people use it on their own camera, on their phones. I'd be like, who that? Neither one of us looks like that. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. So, a crayon, teeth colored crayon. So yeah, it's filtering me. I know it's filtering me because I can see the teeth, right? Look whiter. You can see, I barely have light on and I'm in front of a window, but it's cloudy And my nails are not white. My nails are beige. My nails are the same color as my bedspread. It's kind of a pinky beige. What is it called? I don't have the color down here with me. It's a pinky beige, right? The thing is filtering me. I am in front of a window, but it's not sunny out. It's very gray right now, and the thing is filtering me. My nails are not beige. I mean, my nails are not white. They're kind of like a rosy beige. I didn't ask for this. And I go in every now and then and make sure there's no filter on. There's no filter on, but it automatically is filtering me. I don't like that. And I don't know that it does that. I don't know what other things it's filtering that I'm not even noticing until one day I look at myself in the mirror and I don't recognize me because that's not how I looked on the computer. No, it's not white. Let's see if you can see. So my nails are not much. Can you see the difference now? My nails are not much different from this. Does that make a difference? You see how there's a difference between the white of the text and the white of my nails? But when I don't have this up, let's see, no difference. These things, these softwares, these AI tools, they're out to get us. And we should be more paranoid than we are. We should be more cautious, at least, than we are. So did that change the color of my teeth? If I put this up? Yeah. See? Well, I don't know. This is more realistic, right? This is the color my teeth are. They're out to get us. They're not on our side. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know. We should be more suspicious. We should be more suspicious. I'm a coffee drinker and I'll do whiten every now and then because I know that the coffee is darkening my teeth. But my teeth are not white and I'm not interested in white teeth. I'm not going to do the work it takes to keep and maintain white teeth, even if I was interested in them. Right? You choose. We get to choose what things matter to us instead of letting these things force themselves onto us. Right? You get to choose. You could say my nose, when I turn, I got a lot of nose, right? You could say, they say noses should look like these. There's only these handful of noses that we should have. Or you could say, this don't matter to me. I'm not going to let it matter. I rarely come on a Saturday live stream with my beard, but during the week, when I didn't do co-working this week, but I've been doing co-working lately on my other channel. I'll be looking in there like, oh, beard gang. I'm not going to let having a beard matter to me. I usually shave it before a Saturday live stream. But that's just my schedule, right? Tuesdays and Saturdays, I shave my beard. But I'm not gonna spend my life being upset about a thing that in the grand scheme of my life doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. And we get to choose things. We get to choose what matters to us if we listen to the messaging out there. If you don't listen to the messaging, it's easy to think something matters to you when it really doesn't. White teeth, I think, is a great example because they just keep pushing the idea that teeth are supposed to be white. 10 years ago, it was, to remove coffee stains, but it wasn't to have white teeth, right? But they keep pushing it. And now you think it matters to you to have white teeth? What's next? Now you're going to have to whiten the whites of your eyes, right? Now you're going to change the color of your eyes. What's next? What else are they going to pile on? Now your ears are too small or too big, right? Your armpits The color of your armpits is supposed to matter to you today? What what's next? Right? What's next? When I was a kid, it was stretch marks, right? I've had stretch marks as long as I can remember. I grew very quickly, and I've always had stretch marks. When I was a kid, it was stretch marks. Oh my gosh, what are you going to do about the stretch marks? The stretch marks, the stretch marks. And then, so this is a thing that men have done for me. And then I started dating, and you know what a man never said to me? I don't like your stretch marks. Not one time. And I was like, oh, so that I can cross this off my list. I can stop being concerned about these stretch marks. Because not one man, not near none, was ever like, but you have stretch marks. Not a straight man, not a man who liked women, not a straight or bi man or pan, right? Not a man who was, not one. Okay, well, I appreciated that. I appreciate it. That's the thing. I'm going to cross it off my list. I used to be concerned with it. I did not wear sleeveless items in high school. From all of high school, I never, not once did I leave the house in a sleeveless top. At 14, at 16, at 17, not once. Because I had stretch marks. I have stretch marks. And somebody said I should care about it. I don't know. I guess it was some commercials and maybe some other girlfriends and a variety of places was telling me these stretch marks are ugly. And then the boys and the men never, ever cared. And I was like, oh, well, then neither do I. Right? That is a thing that men have done for me. Seriously. I would not have known what a baddie I am. Except that they were like, baddie right there. I don't know if I would have known. Didn't grow up in a family that was super that talked about my appearance in any way, right? There was never discussion of my appearance in any real way, I don't think. So I wouldn't have had much negative self-esteem. My mom did think it was ridiculous that I wouldn't wear short sleeve shirts, right? I was like a size 12 or 14 in high school and I'm 5'9", right? She did think that was overkill, but I don't know if I would have known. That's one thing that men did do for me, right? Oh, they don't care about this? Okay, then what's the point of me caring about it, right? They know. If they're into women, they know what's beautiful and what's not. So when does it end? Right? When does it end? I have enough things to be worried about. I'm not going to add to it. I'm not going to keep adding to it. I'm not adding white teeth to the list. I'm not. Right? Okay. Capitalism does not function. Hi, Junket. Without making one feel inadequate. Too short, too tall, not enough, by this, by that. You can jump off. You can just jump off. I'm not going to do that. Opt out. Being a person who opts out of things when other people are like, oh, no, you have to do that. Let it set you free. I don't do that. I'm not participating in that. I'm not participating. I'm not doing that. Right? I decided what matters to me. And I've decided stretch marks, they're not going to matter to me. I've decided white teeth not going to matter to me. Healthy hair, right? I want my hair to look good. I don't need it to be healthy. I'm not spending my time on my hair, right? Don't matter to me. Credit scores don't matter to me, right? There are things that people are spending so much time on. That doesn't even matter to you. That doesn't even matter to you. That matters to the man, right? That matters to capitalism. That thing doesn't even matter to you. You don't know what matters to you until you take some time for yourself and listen to you and your thoughts and your mind. A lot of that stuff, it don't even matter to you. Driving yourself bonkers over it. All right, but speaking of which, speaking of hair, my little puff, I have my puff time limit is about up. I put my little, I have a half puff in. I got the top in a puff and the bottom is just out. My little half puff, my band is a little too tight. So we're going to call it quits. We're going to call it quits for the day. If you are not in the Exodus Summit community, it's time for you to get in there. If you're a Black woman, join us. We have meetups happening. Medellin, Colombia for the Medellin Flower Festival is happening August 8th. The meetup is August 8th. I'll be around the 5th to the 10th, I believe. Medellin, we're meeting up in Medellin, Colombia. It would be a wonderful time for you to come and check it out for yourself. The International Meetup Day is September 5th. I will be in Panama City, Panama, in or near Panama City, Panama. Rashida will be in Guadalajara, Mexico. There's a meetup in Spain, meetups all around the US. It's not too late for you to put a meetup together for your city if you don't see one or if you don't see one near where you want to be, right? So join us at exodussummit.com/community. This is our community. Copy. You can do it. You can do it. Copy, paste. This is our community. We left Facebook. We're on a platform that costs, so there is a $1 fee to join, one-time fee of $1. exodussummit.com/community. exodussummit.com/community. Okay, join us over there if you're a Black woman. The meetup information is there. The Medellin is August 8th, 2026. August 8th is the actual meetup. The Flower Festival is like the 1st through the 10th. Be there as long as you possibly can, okay? Stay as long as you can. We'll get together on the 8th and probably a couple other times, but we'll definitely get together on the 8th, okay? Join us, exodussummit.com/community. Suzanne, you don't know until you say something in the community. Have you raised a hand in the community? Do you want to tell us what town you're in? Because listen, I've seen Black women get together in Minneapolis, which surprised me. I know there are Black people in Minnesota, but it just surprised me that there was more than one Black woman in our community in Minnesota to get together on that Saturday. We've had Black women get together in Minnesota on a snow day, like in the wintertime. So they're everywhere. So I would get in the community and I would say something. Would you say no if someone showed up at the meetup with Regenerous on the 8th? No, I'll accept it. Thank you. I did order it, but I'll accept it. I don't need it. If you haven't bought it, Jazzy, don't buy it. But if you have bought it, bring it, please. I don't need any more maple syrup. Thank you, everyone. Cheryl brought me maple syrup. I could use Trader Joe's vanilla extract, Trader Joe's bourbon vanilla extract. If you're near a Trader Joe's, right, that bourbon vanilla extract, I could use one of those. If you're checking a bag, are you in Minnesota, Shauna? If you're checking a bag and you're coming to Medellin or Panama City, I will accept a Trader Joe's bourbon vanilla extract. I do have vanilla extract. I bought some more when I went to Mexico. Here, everything I've seen is imitation. I don't know why. But I did buy I'd stocked up when I went to Mexico earlier this year. Or the lip bar. I made a list. I did an Instagram video not too long ago and I made a list. The lip bar is a Straight Living lip liner. If you want to bring me one or two of those. I'm not out of it, but I will run out before I get a chance to replenish because that's not a thing I can get on Mercado Libre. The lip bar, I think it's Straight Living lip liner. Thank you. Hey. Oh, Asian Drama Black Mama. This is Jill. I'll be in Colombia, August 2026. Cali, Medellin, and Bogota. Hope to see you there. Okay, good. Yeah, I'll be gone 5 to 16. I'll be gone August 5th to the 16th, I believe. 4th or 5th to the 16th. But then I'll be back in Bogota. Holler at me. Please, Jill. And you may have to do it more than once. Okay. But holler at me. I get through it. I go through it. I got no problem using up vanilla extract. All right. Exodus Summit community. And then replays, it's time for us to start reminding you that your replays of Exodus Summit 2025 are about to run out if you had the all access pass. It's July 18th. You do have until September, the end of September. But it's time for us to start reminding you, because as we get closer, y'all, somebody's going to be like, can you extend it? Can you extend it? We will not extend it. Okay. So if you have the all access pass to Exodus Summit 2025, more Move Abroad money, go back and watch your sessions that you need to watch again. The most watched replay, the most rewatched sessions, Funding Your Freedom with Rachel Rogers, our keynote speaker. Part-time work, full-time pay, Shakira Exford, course creation with Dr. Sonia Murray, LinkedIn, like optimizing your LinkedIn for job search with a lady who was very good. Those are among our most rewatched replays. I just wrote them out in an email today, and I'm missing the 5th one. But if you have your replay ticket to Exodus Summit 2025, clock is winding down. If you did not attend Exodus Summit 2025, or if you have the weekend pass and you need to extend, it's time to do that also. ExodusSummit.com. The 2025 Exodus Summit sessions were on more Move Abroad money, on ways to make the money you need to move abroad. And we had speakers come in and teach you how to make money doing their thing. I just named a few. We also had being a tax preparer. We had other sessions. Okay, go to ExodusSummit.com. I'll drop the link, replay ticket, ExodusSummit.com. And get your replays or watch your replays. If you had the weekend pass, you can still upgrade again to watch so that you have more time to watch. Or you can get another weekend pass if you wanted to. Weekend pass gives you 73 days to watch. All access pass, you can watch through September of 2026, through September. The next Exodus Summit happens October of 2026. It's Indigenous Peoples Weekend, and the dates on the calendar are October 9 through 12. So go ahead and block that off on your calendars too. Portia Obeng LinkedIn session. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Next Exodus Summit 2026, October 9th through the 12th. Okay. ExodusSummit.com is where you get the replay tickets for 2025. And if you're watching this in the future, like after August, then that's where you'll get your tickets to Exodus Summit 2026, ExodusSummit.com. Okay. So we're ringing the alarm on you to remind you that it is time to get on them replays, watch them replays. If you have them, watch them. Okay. Because time moves faster than you think it does. September will be over before you know it. And then you'll be like, please extend. Go ahead and watch them now. Okay. All right. So that's what I wanted to remind you of before we left. Hit the like button if you don't mind, if you enjoyed this conversation, any part of it. You didn't have to like the whole thing. Okay. If you liked any part of it, go ahead and hit the like button, friends. And if you want to, share this with a Black woman you think would be interested in this conversation. Okay. Share. Mo the Goddess did a session in Exodus Summit 2025 on OnlyFans, right? So we have a variety of sessions in those replays for you to watch, for you to make money. The speakers came in to teach you how to make money doing the thing that they do, right? Not just to tell you how the thing they do is so great, right? We've all been to those kinds of conferences and sessions where they're like, being a course creator is great. You should try it. I make a lot of money on OnlyFans. You should try it. But they don't tell you how to get started and how to do it. In Exodus Summit 2025 and in all of our previous summits, the speakers come in to teach you how to get started so that you can do it. We want you to make the money. We want you to make the money. My life in Bogota, it's nice. And the money that I need to make to live this life here is less than I would need to make to live this life in the United States. It's nice. And I do it through YouTube, through coaching, through digital course sales, digital products. And those things are covered in Exodus Summit 2025 as well. So see you. I mean, not see you. So go ahead and get your replays, exodussummit.com. That's already linked in the description. So if you're watching the replay, hello, friends in the future. I hope it's awesome there. Say hi. Thank you. Links are in the description of this video if you click on the description. Okay. Good. Venice. Exodus Summit 2024 helped to end my procrastination with moving abroad, made it a reality and not just a dream. That is the point of our conferences. That is the point of our summits and our coaching, to make this thing possible for you. Women show up who often don't even think it's really realistic for them, but they show up because they want it and they're willing to let the coaching and the support push them forward. And then not only is it realistic, but it's done, right? Women go from, I don't even know if this is possible, to, oh, I did it. I would like to spend 2 years out of the United States. And then, oh, I did it. Or I would like to just move to another place. I don't know if it's possible, right? And then next thing you know, oh, I did it, right? Women in this very community. We'll announce the theme shortly. We'll announce the theme and start a little countdown for ticket sales shortly. Not yet, though. Not yet. Hold on. Retirees. So inside of the summit, we had a couple of sessions. We had a session on taxes that might be helpful, how to get the most of your tax advantages when you're abroad. That was 2025. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure we had a session on taxes. If you don't want to work anymore, but you still want to plan your move abroad, great, right? If you have the money, great. Congratulations. We love to hear that. I would come to Exodus ASAP, to our coaching community, join for a month at least, and get your plan together. Get the other parts of your plan. We call it a peace out protocol, and there's 8 parts of a peace out protocol. Where am I even going? What does it cost? Where's that money going to come from? What do I do about my home and all my stuff? What do I do about my people and my pets? What about healthcare? How do I get legal residency in a place? Do I even need it, or citizenship or something? How do I stay there legally? And then what do I do about this fear? How do I work through this mindset concern? Those 8 parts, those 8 questions are the peace out protocol. If you already have the money, amazing. I would join us in Exodus ASAP instead of the replays, which is about how to make money. I would come to Exodus ASAP, which is the membership on how to build this protocol, how to get the rest of this plan together. The Exodus Summit 2025 was about the money, and Exodus ASAP coaching membership is about the rest of the plan. How do I actually do this? From a lot of the women in the space of like, I got the money to do it. It's a matter of figuring out the home, right? What do I do with my home? Do I sell it? Do I rent it out? Do I keep it? Do I move a family member in? What do I do about my home? Is usually the next place to start. And then like, where am I going? Am I going to one place? Do I need to get residency somewhere? Or do I want to get residency? Am I going to bop around? Am I going to see a few places? Do I want to set down roots somewhere, or do I want to see some stuff first? Those are things that you work out inside of the Exodus ASAP coaching community. The summit and the coaching community are 2 different things. So the coaching community is ExodusASAP.com, and the summit is ExodusSummit.com. We're in the middle of the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge on Exodus, in the Exodus ASAP membership. We're right in the middle of it. If you join now, you could catch up, especially if you have a day or two to like work on it, focus on it. You could catch up. So if your Peace Out protocol, if you've gone to the summit and you're like, this session on coaching or this session on freelancing, these sessions really spoke to me. Now I'm ready to get clients. You should also be joining us in the Exodus ASAP membership. And I would join like hasta pronto. I would join now because we're halfway through the Get Your Next 3 Clients Challenge. You have time to catch up and come to the final 3 coaching sessions. Okay, ExodusASAP.com is our coaching membership. ExodusSummit.com is the summit, the conference that happens once a year. Okay, I hope that was clear. I don't want to give you too many, right? And then we talked about the $1 community, ExodusSummit.com/community. The links are in the description of this video already. The only summit you can buy access to is the most recent, the 2025. Now, in the Exodus ASAP membership, we do have some summits, some sessions from previous summits. Did I say that right? In the Exodus ASAP membership, we do have some of the replays of previous summit sessions, but the only summit you can buy a full access to, replay access to, is 2025, More Move Abroad Money. ASAP is awesome, ladies. Come on, get your plan together. I didn't talk doom and gloom this time. I talked about horror stories, but I didn't talk doom and gloom about the United States, okay? But doom and gloom about the United States. It's time to get your plan together and go someplace else. I don't know. It's time. It's time. It's time to get yourselves a plan. I've been looking at the dollar. The dollar is struggling compared to currencies around the world. Well, compared to the couple of currencies that I keep an eye on, including the Colombian peso. The dollar is struggling. I feel like we've had enough. No doom and gloom. We're not going to do doom and gloom. Are there any 2025 replays? Rachel Rogers' replay is at ExodusSummit.com. I don't think there's any of the 2025. No. The 2025 replays are at ExodusSummit.com. They're not in the ASAP coaching community. Okay. All right. It's time though, at least to have a plan. Like seriously, Black people, you at least need to have a plan. Where are you going to go? Right? You at least need to have a plan. Where are you going to go and how you going to get there? Okay. Even if you don't think you're going to act on the plan, you should have a plan together. Okay. One more question. Air conditioning. Southeast Asia air conditioning is ubiquitous because there's a hot place. So I don't know that I ever stayed in any place where I was like, ain't no air conditioning. It's every place. Air conditioning in Southeast Asia, yes. Europe doesn't have air conditioning because they're not used to getting into the 80s and 90s. A lot of Europe doesn't have air conditioning. Europe is big. It's good, big enough size. Most of Europe, Portugal had air conditioning. I don't know. Parts of Europe, they're not used to it, but Southeast Asia, believe me, okay? Now, in Bogota, no air conditioning. I'm in a big old apartment, 2 stories, 4 bedrooms, no ducts, okay? Ain't no ductwork. There's no air conditioning. There's no heating, right? Bogota gets into the 80s, usually 2 days a year. Other than that, it's in the 60s, sometimes the 70s, the high for the day. The high for the day, 2 days a year, it'll be 80 degrees. There's no heating and there's no air conditioning here, right? Everything is, and so Colombia is not one answer, right? So if Colombia has not one answer, Europe does not have one answer, but Southeast Asia has one answer. Southeast Asia does have air conditioning. It's a thing that they do. It's the wall things. They got them. Every room, sometimes every room will have a wall thing. Okay. You're welcome. All right, friends. For the 14th time, I'm Connie Perry's daughter. I'm going to say goodbye to you 18 times, okay? The other day, I had to be like, Mom, I got to go. Last Saturday, I got to go. Okay. But nice to see you. Nice talking to you. Thank you very much for being here and being so wonderful to each other in the chat. Also, thank you for being so kind and gracious to me, right? Remember to treat yourself with that same grace. Remember to give yourself that same grace. I came on here and shared my opinions on things, and you let me have my opinions. And I came here and was wrong about some stuff that you think I was absolutely wrong about. You let me do that. You let me show up imperfectly, and not have to know it all to be here and to share and to create a community. You don't expect me to know everything, to be a community placeholder, a community creator. That could be you too. You don't have to know everything. You don't even have to know a lot. A lot of stuff I do not know. Some stuff I know and I can't remember because of menopause, right? But you've given me the grace to still hold this space for us, for Black women. That can be you too, right? Give yourself that same grace that you've given me. Okay? Hit the like button on the way out, and I'll see you guys again. All right? See you guys again. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Saturday. Bye.